Hello everyone, back tuning in to the latest updates for ENSO. So we're going to see what's happening in the Equatorial Pacific Ocean in terms of El Nino, and we'll be going through the latest sea surface temperature anomalies through the Equatorial Pacific. We'll also have a look at some models, see what they're showing. Now we're getting towards the end of the spring predictability barrier, which is when the period of the year when it becomes very difficult to forecast what's going to happen in terms of El Nino and La Nina. We're getting towards the end of that now, so hopefully we'll begin to firm up a little bit this month and next month on exactly where things are going to be going through the summer and into the autumn in terms of ENSO. So that's going to be coming up shortly. Just going to say about what we've already done at Gas Service today. So it's JMA Friday, of course. We've had a look at the weather for the month with Japanese and CFS V2 models. You can find the video about on the homepage, so go and have a look at that if you would like to do that. And also just saying, in a little while we're going to do Storm Watch again, so we'll be able to see what's happening, what the latest is with the thunder potential over the weekend. So we're going to start off just bring you up to date with what's happened in terms of ENSO since the last update. So begin with the cold and warm episodes by season chart from CPC, NCEP and NOAA. So this is showing all the La Nina and El Nino events going right way back to 1950. So that's our first year just there, and that's the La Nina event, of course, of the winter of 1949-1950. Quite a moderate La Nina event that was. So we scroll down through the years, through the 50s, through the 60s, through the 70s, through the 80s, through the 90s, into 2000s and into 2010s, and this is our latest year, of course, 2017. So we know that we have one of the weakest La Nina events ever recorded back at the end of 2016. We have these blue coloured numbers just here, minus 0.6, minus 0.8, minus 0.8, minus 0.8, and minus 0.7. Just getting the required threshold of a La Nina event, but a very, very weak one. Into 2017, we've reverted back to ENSO neutral, so that was our first tri-monthly number, which came out at minus 0.4. Our second tri-monthly period comes out at minus 0.1, and our latest tri-monthly period, which I believe is for the tri-monthly period of February, March, April, that comes out at plus 0.1. So essentially we are back bang on to ENSO neutral condition, and now we're going to have to wait and see where the numbers in the boxes go next. Will they go red, or will they stay black? I think we can rule out a La Nina, so I don't think we're seeing blue numbers appearing again for the rest of this year. The question would be whether they keep in the black, we keep black numbers, which is ENSO neutral, or whether we go off into El Nino. Remember, to get El Nino and indeed La Nina designated, you have to have very strict criteria. So in the case of El Nino, you have to go to 0.5 degrees or above, half a degree or above average, and you have to do it over 5 tri-monthly periods. So for example, the Super Nino 2014-2015, these numbers just here, 0.1 and 0.4, those didn't get to the required threshold of an El Nino event in 2014. It's this one just here, that's the first one, 0.5, that one, of course, looking red, then 0.6 above average, then again 0.6, that's a third tri-monthly period, 0.5, that's a fourth tri-monthly period, and then 0.6 again, that's your fifth tri-monthly period, and that takes you then to a designated El Nino, albeit a very weak one. And actually 2015 was an El Nino year throughout the whole of the year. All of these numbers in the boxes are red through the whole year, which is quite unusual actually. If we go back through the years, it's quite unusual to see a whole year coming out as an El Nino year. So the last one was actually 1987, where you have all of those red numbers in the boxes throughout the whole of the year. But as we go back, you see it is quite an unusual thing to do. Nearly did it in 1969, but there was a break back to ENSO neutral just there. And then I don't think we've got another year. Yes, we have got 1953. So again, we get a whole year's worth of red numbers in the boxes there in 1953. So it's only really 1953, 1987, and then going back to 2015, where we have a whole year of El Nino. Anyway, I'm off on a bit of a tangent by that. That's the criteria that we need to get El Nino designated. We need to get 5 boxes here, numbers in the boxes, covering 0.5 degrees or above average to get an El Nino designated this year. Will we do it? Well, let's see what's happened over the past month. So this was the sea surface temperature anomaly from NOAA for last month. This is when we did the April ENSO updates. This is 27th of April. We can see that basically, essentially, that is showing ENSO neutral conditions. So we have got fairly warm waters over here in the East Equatorial Pacific. And by the way, these events are the warming and cooling of the Equatorial Pacific Ocean from Peru, which is just there, to Indonesia, which is over here. So in the eastern part of the Equatorial Pacific last month, we did have some warming of the ocean taking place there, still just about holding on to the signature, well, not really a signature, but holding on to the last vestiges that was the signature of La Nina over there in the western part of the Equatorial Pacific Ocean. That's the latest. This is up to Friday. This is up to, I should say, sorry, 22nd of May. Of course, you've seen this on Friday. So we see that, again, there's been very little development. So, again, if we go back to last month, that's last month, go forwards to this month, again, very little development has taken place of this El Nino. We're still above average, just about, over here in the eastern part of the Equatorial Pacific Ocean, but over in the central and western part of the Equatorial Pacific Ocean, we are bang on ENSO neutral. You certainly wouldn't say that that is an El Nino signature at this stage. Again, notice how cold it is up here in the northern part of the Equatorial, northern part of the Pacific Ocean to the north of the Equatorial Pacific. So up there, it's looking a lot colder than it was in 2015, and I suspect that is going to limit, if we do go to El Nino, we're probably going to struggle to get a super Nino. That would probably limit how warm we can get it through the Equatorial Pacific Ocean. But at the moment, definitely ENSO neutral rather than El Nino. At depth, this is how things are looking. This is from the PDF from NOAA. They do a weekly PDF looking at the ENSO region, be it La Nina or El Nino. And this is looking at the subsurface temperature anomalies. So what we're just looking at there, those are sea surface temperature anomalies. This is subsurface temperature anomalies. We can see that actually at depth through the central and western part of the Equatorial Pacific Ocean, just here, we have got quite a mass of warm water down to around 150 meters under the surface. But that is not really making much attempt to get up to the surface just yet. This is the warming that we've got in the eastern part of the Equatorial Pacific Ocean over here. So you think that Peru is going to be over there, Indonesia will be over there somewhere. This is kind of like the surface. So you can see this orange and red area just here. That is like the warming that we've got, we've got in the eastern part of the Equatorial Pacific Ocean, close to the Peruvian coast. But overall, not really all that far from neutral on the surface. It's at depth that we have got this body, this mass of quite warm water, but it's not really making much progress to get further from there. If I go over here, this is going back, these charts just here, going back over the past few weeks. I think we can go back to the start of March, actually, with this. So that's the warm water at around 150 meters in the central western part of the equatorial Pacific Ocean at depth at 150 metres. You see this has strengthened over weeks, so that's 29th of April, this one 13th of April, this one's 28th of April, this is the 13th of May. You see that this warm mass is increasing, the temperatures are lifting up there at depth in terms of the anomaly, but it's not making much effort to actually break up to the surface. So we have got this warm water just here, but at the moment it's showing no real signs of getting up to the surface and setting us into an El Nino event. We should wait and see. One of the things we look at to see what's going to happen is the SOI, the Southern Oscillation Index. This is an index that's reflecting the state of the atmosphere in the southern Pacific Ocean, looking at the pressure readings between Darwin in Australia and Tahiti over in the southern Pacific Ocean. So when the SOI is negative, the atmosphere is reflective of El Nino. When the SOI is positive, the atmosphere is reflective of La Nina. So we have had quite a lot of negativity of the SOI over the past few days. So we can go back to more or less where we did the last video back into April. You see that on the 29th of April we was down to minus 10.17. On the 30th of April down to minus 20. That's very negative, and that's reflective of El Nino in terms of the atmospheric setup in the Southern Ocean. And what you've got to do, really, to get an El Nino in place is to get the atmosphere consistently reflected in an El Nino setup. When it does that, the atmosphere will couple up with the ocean. You'll start to lift up those warm sea surface, or warm subsurface temperature anomalies, in fact. You'll start to push them up to the surface, warm the surface temperature of the equatorial Pacific Ocean, and then you can get going with an El Nino event. So on the 4th of May, we're down to minus 12, 5th of May down to minus 12, 6th of May down to minus 12, 7th of May down to minus 14, and so on. 10th of May down to minus 17, 11th of May down to minus 21. These are very negative numbers, and over a consistent period, you would have expected perhaps a little bit more warming, I think, to have occurred through the equatorial Pacific Ocean. However, the latest is that we've actually gone more towards the positive side. So on the 13th of May, we're at plus 6. 14th of May, we're at plus 4. 18th of May at plus 10. 20th and 21st of May coming out at plus 17 and plus 11. These numbers are reflective of La Nina in terms of the atmospheric setup. That will fight against the ocean. So the reason we've probably seen very little genuine warming of the sea surface temperature anomalies in the equatorial Pacific Ocean is because the SOI is still not consistently into an El Nino type setup. The atmosphere is not consistently reflecting El Nino. It's still fighting a little bit against both itself, because it's swinging from an El Nino to a La Nina state at times, and also it's fighting against what the ocean is trying to do, which is probably to go towards El Nino. So that's the reason we still remain at ENSO neutral for the time being. It is very, very early on, though, in the year. You don't normally expect El Nino to start gathering pace till you get well into the summer, and then, of course, it goes on through the autumn, strengthening before reaching its peak around the end of the year, around Christmas. Let's just finish off having a look at some models. So we'll have a look at CFS V2. So this is the region 3.4 sea surface temperature anomaly forecast from CFS V2. This is where we are right now. We're in that sort of zone just there. So we know we're at ENSO neutral and we're on the positive side. Essentially, this is all ENSO neutral. So from plus 0.5 just there down to minus 0.5 just there. That is all sort of ENSO neutral territory. Down here, that is La Nina territory. Up here is El Nino territory. Of course, got dates along the bottom. So we're at ENSO neutral right now, on the positive side of ENSO neutral, rising from the incredibly weak La Nina that we had at the end of last year and into the start of 2017. The forecast is actually just to keep things around where they are right now. So the CFS V2, one time it was going for an El Nino event, through the second half of this year. But right now, actually, it is just really seeing a continuation of ENSO neutral. It isn't seeing that we lift off up into La Nina. Now, we are on the positive side of ENSO neutral, so it's not inconceivable that we might go up into that sort of zone, and if we did, that would be a weak El Nino event, but it certainly isn't lifting things up here. We're not going up to that sort of territory where we was in 2015, 2016. So it isn't really seeing, it's certainly not seeing a Super Nino. It isn't really seeing a proper El Nino event either at this stage. This is the ECMWF ensemble plume for the Nino 3.4 region. So again, same idea as CFS-V2. We've got the temperature only on the side, but dates on the bottom. And that's around where we are just there. So again, it's lifting things up towards, probably going more towards a weak El Nino, actually, than the CFS. I think by the time we get through to around middle of summer, which is just here, it is probably seeing things going just about into a weak El Nino event. Beyond that, there's quite a split, really. Some of the ensemble plumes are going off up here, so strengthening that El Nino signal, possibly going to moderate El Nino. However, about half of the ensemble plume sticking around that sort of zone, or even backing off, maybe going down towards ENSO neutral. So again, the ECMWF is maybe more towards an El Nino compared to the CFS, but it's not really going for an El Nino event with conviction, and it certainly, again, is not lifting things into a Super Nino. If we do go into El Nino this summer, it is likely to be really quite a weak one. And then finally, Pajamas Tech IOD, and this has changed quite a bit from last month as well. Now, it is still going for an El Nino event. It's still the most bullish out of these three for an El Nino event, but last month, actually, it was lifting things up to there. Again, same idea. You've got the temperature only on the side. You've got the dates along the bottom. Last month, actually, I can get last month's up, so let's just have a quick look at last month's forecast. So that's the red line is the ensemble mean, if you like, and these grey lines are individual members of the Pajamas Tech ensemble. So you see that last month the red line was sort of topping out at around 2 degrees above average. You're getting close to a very strong El Nino event. It was doing that by, say, January 2018. So you notice how that red line was lifting up, becoming moderate with the El Nino through the summer, and going to a strong El Nino event through the end of the year. The latest, let's go back to the latest, and you'll notice that red line now is much lower. So instead of the red line going up to there at the end of the year, it is now going up to there. And that is still El Nino. So the Pajamas Tech, I say, it's probably out of all of these three models, probably the most bullish still in going for an El Nino event. But it's certainly backed off that signal that we had last month, where it's going for a strong, I wouldn't say Super Nino, but it's certainly going for a strong El Nino event in the at the end of this year. Now it is down into sort of moderate El Nino type territory, around 1.5 degrees above average. So still quite a mixed bag, really, with these long-range models. The CFS just is not seeing it. It's not seeing El Nino. It just wants to keep things around ENSO neutral. ECMWF just sort of getting into a slight El Nino through the summer. They're not really sure what to do with it through the end of the year. And Pajamas Tech is still the most bullish in terms of wanting to produce El Nino, but again, it is backing off the signal that it had last month, which was for a strong El Nino. Now it's down to a moderate El Nino. We'll see next month whether that signal backing off the El Nino event, whether that continues. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, but I think overall we are probably moving a little bit away from an El Nino. We're certainly moving away from a strong El Nino. There's absolutely no evidence of that. All these models could be wrong, of course, but at the moment there's no evidence from the models or what's happening in the Pacific Ocean that we're going to snowball this up into a really strong Super Neo such as we had in 2015 to 16. If we do get an El Neo, it looks like it's going to be at the most moderate, probably, if we go for the ECNUF as the most reliable, probably quite a weak El Neo, and there's a chance that we won't actually get an El Neo, it might just stay around ENSO neutral. Now, as I say, we have been in the spring predictability barrier. We're coming out of that now, so I would suspect whatever's going to happen, these models will really latch on to the signal next month. So what I expect when we do next month's update, we will probably get cross-model agreement from these three models. So be very interesting. Come back in June. When we do June's ENSO update, I suspect we will get agreement then as to where this is going to go in the second half of the year. Right, don't forget to check out JMA Friday. Stormwatch is coming up later on this evening. And just say tomorrow we've got weekend forecast, of course. We're also going to be doing the summer the final Season 1 roundup for the summer of 2017. That's in anticipation of Sunday, when we're actually going to do the summer forecast. So it's all about summer this weekend. So keep checking back for all of the updates. Summer forecast will be with you on Sunday tomorrow, the final Season 1 roundup. And don't forget to check out JMA Friday. Right, that's all now. Thanks for watching.